Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reflexology and Foot Reading Podcast. I am your host, Sam Belyea, affectionately known by my clients and students as the Foot Whisperer, and we are about to go deep with Kelly Hainsworth, who is a reflexologist in Leicestershire in the UK, but where you might recognize Kelly's name from is as the moderator of the Love Reflexology Facebook group. She is a community leader in the reflexology space and also serves as a business mentor for practitioners looking to establish their business. It is my pleasure to have her on the podcast today as we talk about everything from social media to business and beyond. Welcome, Kelly. So as far as this idea of how you got started in reflexology, give me the rundown as far as what your reflexology education was like and how you started to stumble into the craft.
Okay, we're going right back to 2006. It's when I first became aware of reflexology.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest brother actually died very suddenly, and during the months after his death, when you're in that real raw grief, I had a lot of issues just relaxing and going to sleep in the evening. I just could not switch off. My brain was just busy processing everything. And a friend actually suggested, why don't you go and have a reflexology treatment? And you're at that point where you think, I just need to do something. I need to try something. Didn't really know a lot about the therapy at all, but booked myself in and went along. And that first treatment, I felt nurtured, I felt cared for. I actually felt like I was having a big hug when I was in the chair. It was the most incredible experience. And I went home that evening and I felt a little bit emotional because obviously the stress was coming out. But that evening I slept for the first time in months. And to wake up feeling refreshed and not jaded was the most incredible thing. So I then went on and had more treatments, and I just felt invigorated, and I felt then I could cope better with, processing my brother's death and being able to support my parents better. So months went by, and I decided I then wanted to learn reflexology. I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to know how I could go on and help people in the same way that this amazing therapy had helped me. So I found a superb course with the IIR, because I know you're trained IIR as well, Sam, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I trained with the IIR under Alison Walker, who was an incredible teacher, absolutely incredible, and did my case studies and qualified, and at the end of the course I dedicated my qualification to my brother. It was in his memory, and I established my business very much in his memory, and for me it was a huge positive out of a very, very difficult time in my life. And I always said that I just then wanted to go on and help people with this therapy in the same way it helped me.
Oh my gosh, Kelly, that is such a beautiful story. I mean, everybody comes into the reflexology field for, some reason, and sometimes it's more intentional than others. And just to hear that, I kind of stumbled into the field myself, but it seems like from the beginning, like you've had such a deep sense of purpose with this craft, and it's touched you so deeply, and it's such an inspiration to hear that story.
Oh, thank you. It's, as business has progressed and it's obviously developed considerably over the past 10 years, I just always have my brother in my mind and think, you're my motivation, and then it just inspires me every day.
Oh, so amazing. So let's talk about the group, because that is one of the most fascinating parts of the story. You literally just started the group in August, and yet it has exploded into this online hub of reflexologists from all over the world. I think you're at over 1,500 members the last time I checked.
Yes, we've got over 1,600 and something today.
Oh my gosh.
It's growing every day. day. Every day I log on and there are new member requests, and I'm just blown away by the support and the love for the group. It's absolutely blown me away, Sam. It really has.
Well, I mean, you put it in the title, love reflexology. And I think that that's part of the reason why people are so attracted to it, is because, like you said, this modality tends to offer that sense of being comforted in a way that maybe other forms of body work don't necessarily capture for such a wide breadth of the community. And you've given us a forum to really share that love that we've experienced with the modality with not only the people around us, but also other practitioners, to kind of raise a virtual glass, as it were, and kind of cheers each other for work well done.
Yes, initially I used to run a Twitter hour right back 2013. I ran a Twitter hour with another reflexologist, and it was just a UK thing. It was a networking thing, and it's always been in the back of my mind, because when I used to log off on the Twitter hours, there was always conversations that were carrying on. And it became really apparent to me that practitioners wanted to talk to each other. They wanted this sense of community. They wanted to be there for each other and support each other. Most practitioners work at home. They work alone. So sometimes it can be a lonely profession.
Yeah.
And I wanted to create this space where practitioners could come together, share their stories, share their experiences, share best practice, and just be there to support each other and not feel alone. And I really feel that Love Reflexology is achieving that aim. Members can log on any day of the week, any time of the day, and there's usually somebody online who they can have a conversation with and say, I've done this treatment today and I'm not quite sure about this, or I've read this amazing book, can I share it with you? And I'm just loving how engaged everybody is in the group.
It's so inspiring to see that happening. And so you started on a totally different platform with Twitter, and now you've kind of migrated to Facebook. So what was the prompting that made you think, hey, let's start a Facebook group about this and transition platforms?
I think Twitter's a fabulous platform, and it's fabulous for networking, but I found that practitioners wanted to chat in a more secure setting.
Yeah.
So that's why the group is a closed group, and it's only for practitioners. So they can chat and they can share information, stories, knowing that it's just for practitioners. And it's just easy to use. A lot of practitioners also aren't on Twitter. It's
right.
not a platform that they're comfortable with. So Facebook's more accessible for everybody. They're more comfortable using the technology, and they just feel better using that platform.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely a genuine sense of comfort when you kind of log on to the group, that there's not this sense of kind of techie vibe. Like, everybody's very down to earth. They're speaking very plainly.
Yes.
It's not intimidating at all.
And that's what I want. I want people to be able to log on, post a comment or a question, and feel comfortable doing it. There's no judgments. It's just a safe space for everybody to really share their craft and be confident in doing so without judgment.
And so let me take this conversation a little bit further. As part of your business mentoring, I took a quick peek at your website, Hainsworth.com, and I noticed that you are actually looking to help other reflexology practitioners navigate the social media space, which I think is a fascinating branch of business that not a lot of people are talking about. So walk me through, if somebody wanted to work with you on maybe developing a first-time Twitter account, or using Facebook a little bit more intelligently, or Instagram. I see you all over Instagram. Talk to me about how you work with practitioners to develop that kind of social following.
Okay, so I always do a Skype or a FaceTime meeting with clients, because obviously they're all over the country, just to really establish what their business is about, and what they want to achieve from their business. And that's really important, to get that foundation there first of all. look at which social media platform that they need support with. So, for instance, most people have a Facebook account, but they're not confident using it. They're not quite sure how to do certain techie things. So I will work with that reflexologist for a month. I'm on constant email support or FaceTime support, and I set up challenges. Each week we go through lots of different techie challenges, and I'll have tips and little tricks that they can use, and they can apply that then for their business. And by the end of the month, most practitioners will go away feeling confident, and you see them grow in confidence on their social media platforms, and it's incredible. And I follow them sort of months down the line, and they're flourishing, and then they'll message me and say, Kelly, I've got these bookings because of Facebook, and it's really working. So on the social media level, that's what I would do with the training on that point. In terms of business mentoring, I may work with clients who are already very confident on social media, but they've got lost within their business, so they're not quite sure what to do. They're not getting clients through the door. So I will work with them to support them through the month and give them again coaching on how we can get clients into their practice.
I love that. I think that especially for reflexologists, it's a little bit difficult because, I mean, very similar to your story, we get into this field wanting to help people, not necessarily wanting to run a business. And so a lot of practitioners, they're okay with the hands-on stuff, and they might even, like you said, be okay with social media and talking about what they do, but they don't really understand how to set up the grassroots of that fundamental business practice to kind of ground everything that they're doing.
That's right. One of the key things that I always do, in particular the business mentor clients, is I get them, whether they're newly qualified or whether they're even 5-10 years down the line within their business, I get them to write a business plan, because it gives them such a good foundation for their work. And then we establish their niche markets, who their clients are, and then we can really tailor their marketing and strategy for their business. And it's all done in, very simple terms. There's no, fancy marketing jargon. It's in clear, simple English. So practitioners can go away and really use this to make their marketing work.
I love that. So as a practitioner, as somebody who started out in reflexology, what was the pivoting point for you to start thinking about offering these business mentoring services? How did you transition into not only that thought process, but like what made you feel qualified to actually offer your expertise to other practitioners?
The need for this kind of training and support became really apparent to me through doing the Twitter hour, and also this year, working with Reflexology. I've come into contact with many practitioners who are incredible practitioners, got a fairly good client base, but when it comes to marketing and just getting their confidence to be developed online, they just need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of support, just to push them in the right direction, and then they flourish. And there's not that support there for them. And as a small business owner, you don't have a big budget to spend on marketing and, for a company to do it for you. So right. I'm providing a service that's affordable. And also I'm a practitioner, so I've done it. I've made the mistakes. I know what works and what doesn't work. I've got so many clients as a direct result of social media and my website, so I know what works in this field, and I can then pass on those tips and those advice to the other practitioners.
That's so powerful. I mean, it's one thing, especially when you're considering advertising options, to work with an agency that maybe knows how to do marketing, but they may not understand the practice. They may not understand the unique struggle of being a reflexologist and what various aspects, are required for us to do on a daily basis. So it's hard for, those outside agencies to really help us get the message out there when they don't know what the message is. but
Correct.
you have been there, done that, and it's so perfect to hear it from another practitioner, especially since, I mean, it's not like you've been off the radar. It's like you've been learning publicly for so long through social media. This is the offering that you're now able to say, hey, look, it's not even something that I've hidden. I have a digital track record of everything that I've created that I can help you create too.
That's right. I mean, when I first launched my business, Sam, you know, social media was kind of there, and it wasn't really something that was in the forefront of my mind because printed marketing was very popular still then.
Yeah.
And I made the huge error of, pushing loads of money into things like yellow page adverts.
Yeah.
Local magazines.
I did the same thing.
You just want to get your name out there, don't you? And you make these mistakes in the early days. And I learned very quickly that printed press does not work, and people were not engaged with it at all. And you learn very quickly that word of mouth is one of the most important factors, followed by a great website and social media presence. And
Agreed.
I've made those journeys, I've made those mistakes, found out what works, what doesn't work, and I can share that with practitioners. And especially with Facebook, there's a lot of changes coming up with Facebook. In 2018, they're changing a lot of different methods on how we post, and it is going to affect how small businesses appear in people's news feeds. So I'm going to be able to share with practitioners some of the tips and tricks and how we can still make sure that we're seen in our clients' news feeds.
As those changes roll out, I would love to have you back on the podcast to talk about those changes because, I mean, especially if we have practitioners listening that aren't comfortable on social media to begin with, some of those new changes might really throw them for a doozy.
Yes.
And I know that seeing Facebook evolve just over the past year, there have been so many changes that it's hard to keep up with. So I look forward to having you back on to talk about that shift.
I'd be delighted to come back, Sam. Thank you.
So let's talk about the beginner reflexologist. So somebody who maybe just got qualified, regardless of where they're at in the world. What are maybe 3 things that you could suggest that they do to start out their practice?
I would always say spend time business planning. And as part of that business planning, I would look at some key things. I would set a target number of treatments that you would like to achieve that each week. Think about the income that you need to earn. Be practical and don't be shy about numbers. At the end of the day, you are a business. We're in a caring profession, but you also need to earn an income as a practitioner. So set yourself a realistic target of treatment and have that figure in the forefront of your mind. Pin it on your notice board so it's always visible and it helps you to stay focused. I would then also suggest that you think about who your target client is. So, really set up, imagine who that person is. What's the age range? Is it 18 to 40? Is it female, male? What are their sort of spending habits? What are they into? Are they into nature, environmental factors? Really build a good profile about your client. And when you've got that profile, you can really use that information to target your marketing, on social media, printed leaflets, website. And then you're not wasting time churning out loads of social media posts that actually your audience are not interested in, they're not engaging with. And keep that in the forefront of your mind with all your marketing. And then just review it annually, and tweak it. It's, businesses change, businesses evolve. Your target number of treatments might change. You might find you've got more time to offer for appointments, so you can increase that target, or you might actually want to downsize it for a bit if you had a family or your life situation changes. But have that business plan and use it as a good, solid foundation to move forward with your business and have a good business head on alongside the caring part of our business that we all love to do.
Excellent. I love that. So start with the business plan, then evolve the client profile, and constantly go back and review. And I can imagine having somebody like you, Kelly, as a mentor along the way to really help the practitioner stay focused so that even, you holding them accountable for the progress that they should be making can also be really helpful.
Yes, I mean, when I work with my mentor clients, we speak most days on email or we message each other on Messenger. And sometimes they just want to sound out an idea, say, I've got this idea about my potential client profile. What do you think? Does this fit in with, where I'm at and my training? Does this sound right to you? And we just bounce ideas off, and it helps to keep them focused, helps them to stay on the right path. And it just gives their business such a clear direction. And once you've got that, you can then fly. And it's wonderful. I've seen several mentor clients this year just fly now in their businesses. And I'm very excited to see where they're all heading for 2018.
It's amazing to see them kind of jump off the ledge and soar from that standpoint. So on the flip side of maybe some things to do, let's talk about some mistakes. So give me a mistake or a funny story that happened to you while you were first starting out that maybe would be a pitfall to avoid for new practitioners.
Most definitely do not spend huge sums of money on printed press.
Right. We both agree on that.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I was very excited. I'd just qualified, thinking, gosh, I'm going to run my own business. And just went gung-ho with all this printed, I'm going to go in the church magazine and I'm going to be in this, and it just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And I learned very quickly that there were better forms of marketing that were more successful. So certainly don't spend large amounts on printed press.
On that note, I actually have a very similar story, except it had a little bit of a twist. So I started my first major marketing push was with door hangers, like printed little leaflets that you would hang on doors.
Okay.
And so for about a month, for a couple hours a day, I would go hanging door hangers around my local community. And except for this little thing called the weather, I live in South Florida, which is in the summer anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees. And so I would literally be drenched by the time I was done. And those door hangers maybe brought one or two clients out of the thousands that I had put up. But then as I started to do reflexology, I put it on my website, and literally within the week, I had 3 new clients that had just found me online through putting the service on the web. And it was such a drastic difference. So I'm right there with you, Kelly. Like, print ads are totally dead, and we need to be shifting and talking digitally.
Completely, and I think that's why a lot of practitioners just need some support. They're incredible practitioners. They provide wonderful treatments, but they just need that bit of guidance and support to get the best out of the technology that we have. Because, on the whole, Facebook is free unless you choose to do some paid ads. And it's a great platform for businesses, especially small businesses, to really get their voice heard to a huge audience. So let's use it, and let's really get reflexology out there for everybody.
Right. I mean, and you can't beat free. Like, it's a resource. Use it.
Exactly. And I've worked with a number of practitioners this year who are now getting the best out of Facebook. And they're seeing that return with clients booking, and it's just incredible resource to use.
I love that. So what kind of clients do you love to work with, both from a mentoring and from a reflexology standpoint, and why do you like to work with them?
And in terms of the reflexology side, my main specialism is working with women. And I love working with ladies of all ages to support them in the different stages of their life, be it they're about to have a child, or they are pregnant, or even through menopause. It's such a privilege to work with women through those different exciting stages of their life. But I do work with the whole family. I mean, my youngest client at the moment is only 2 months old, which
Oh
is
my
just
goodness.
incredible. And my eldest client is a gentleman, in his 80s. So I love working with all my clients, but I do have a particular passion for women's health. I've actually been very privileged this year to work with 3 ladies who are undergoing cancer treatment for breast cancer. And their oncologist has actually said to them, go and have reflexology as part of your recovery program.
Oh my goodness.
So that is a huge shift for me that I've seen this year, and I've been really privileged to work with these very strong, incredible women who are going through such a traumatic time, just to give them that treatment, that space in their life at this time. And I feel very blessed that I've been part of that with them.
I find that too, more so than anything, even the hands-on modality aside, reflexology is such an excuse to escape and to just allow the body to do what it does naturally. And especially when, women are feeling like they have to take care of the kids and they have to take care of the parents and they're stuck in the middle with no time for themselves, it can be such a beautiful appointment to just let it go and to be self-focused for a little bit.
I fully agree, and I work with a number of ladies who may be body conscious. They may be feeling a little bit overweight after they've had a child, or they're just not comfortable with their figures and their weight at the moment. So to come for reflexology treatment is very empowering for them, because they only need to take off their socks and their shoes.
Right.
They don't need to undress like they're having, when they have a massage. So they feel completely comfortable and relaxed when they come, and they feel safe. And they don't feel body conscious at all, and that alone is very empowering for a woman as well.
True. So with reflexology, let's kind of zoom out to this global idea of reflexology. You're heading one of the most popular reflexology groups on Facebook right now. What are some of the trends that you're seeing as far as reflexology, and where is it going as a global profession?
I think as a global profession, it's increasing in popularity. I mean, from when I first started out, right back in 2006, a lot of people didn't really know what reflexology was. People would say to me, "What is it? What do you do? I've never heard of it." And even in the past year, I've seen it increasing in popularity. There's been a number of celebrities in the UK who are now coming forward into the press and saying, I have reflexology to help with my depression or to help with my stress.
Mm-hmm.
So the public are now, becoming more aware of it. And when a celebrity kind of endorses things, people stand up and go, oh,
right.
Okay, what is this? So I'm definitely seeing an increase in popularity, certainly in the UK. I don't know how it is in the US, Sam.
It's, very much along those lines. Actually, a couple years back, I had an influx of clients because there was somebody in the public eye in politics that wrote a book, and within that book, there was a whole chapter dedicated to their health and wellness, and reflexology was a big part of that. So I would get clients, in waves saying that they read about reflexology from this celebrity in their book. So I've experienced the exact same thing. But I think what I'm noticing here in the US is there's a trend towards specialization right now. And as opposed to, 10, 15 years ago, when it was just this idea of all massage was just massage. Now people are starting to get aware that there's structural types of massage, and then there's craniosacral therapy, and then there's energy work, and then there's something like reflexology, which very much blends it all together. And they're starting to get, the consumers are starting to get more intelligent as far as body work as a whole, and I think reflexology is definitely benefiting from that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I actually had a client today who has been seeing a physiotherapist to help with her back, and she's been seeing this physio for some time. And she said to me today that she's, benefiting more from actually coming and having the reflexology, because it deals with the whole person.
Yeah.
Not just helping with her back, which is helping with her stress levels, it's helping to sleep better. And people are becoming more educated about the different treatments available and the power, what reflexology can do for them.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a fellow body worker the other day, and they said something very much to that effect. They said, when they go to something or someone rather like a physiotherapist and they're working with just the mechanics of the body, like the meat suit of the body, other modalities like reflexology shine because we're taking the whole person into account as opposed to just isolating different muscle groups. So it's really this whole person conversation that we as reflexologists get to indulge in and work with clients on. So, emotional stress, family relationships, if they're moving, if their work's doing well, what's on their mind, all of that is technically relevant in reflexology as opposed to just, other therapies that are rolling out the meat suit, as it were.
Yes, I fully agree. And, I've worked with some clients for 8 years, and you see them at different stages in their life. That, like you say, they may have moved house, so they've got that high stress levels going on, and you can support them through that time by providing a really relaxing treatment, because that's what they need at that time. They need that nurturing.
Yeah.
Whereas other times you may see them and it might just be, they've been suffering with headaches, and you support them through that. And clients are becoming very educated about the different treatments available and the benefits that reflexology can have for them.
Any unique client stories that kind of come top of mind as far as people that you've worked with and some of those kind of wow moments where you've really seen reflexology shine?
Gosh, it's been so many times. I've been very blessed. I have a wonderful client base here in Leicestershire. I worked with a very special gentleman a number of years ago who actually is no longer with us. And he was a gentleman, and I supported him through his last days, and they were the most beautiful treatments, and he always said at the end how much peace I brought to his life at that time. And it really touched me. When he passed away, his wife actually called me to thank me for what I'd done for him and the kindness I'd shown and the support I'd given him. And it's always stayed with me. It's always that she felt so moved by the work I'd done to actually pick up the phone and ring to thank me. And that will always stay with me.
Oh my gosh. What a story. That encapsulates everything that reflexology should be right there. It's just truly powerful when we have those experiences. So as far as the lessons that you've learned, let's talk back to that Love Reflexology group and maybe share with the listeners some of the lessons you've learned that they could implement in their own practice, as far as maybe they want to start their own Facebook group for reflexologists locally where they are, or maybe things to avoid as far as cultivating a sense of online community?
Sure. I mean, when you set a group up, the first factor you need to be aware of is time, and the time that it takes to run a group. And I learned very quickly how to manage the group, and it's very much now part of my role as a reflexologist. So I have my treatment side of my business, my mentoring, and my Love Reflexology work, and it all encompasses who I am as a practitioner. So you can't run a group as kind of a separate thing. It needs to encompass who you are and who your business is. So you set that time then dedicated to running that group. So my working week, I always have so much time slotted in my diary for the group, and it's really important that you dedicate that time to it for it to be successful and to work. You also need to keep an eye on membership. So, for example, for this group, I have questions set up so that when somebody sends a request, they have to answer certain questions to join the group. I do get some very random requests from people that aren't practitioners, but having those questions there really helps me to filter out who's genuine and who isn't. So it's always worth adding in something like that if you're thinking of setting a group up. And then the main thing is just to create engaging content within the group, content that's relevant to the members, that they want to see, because, you know, as you know, Sam, Facebook's absolutely full of so much information. And sometimes it's really overwhelming and you think, oh gosh, I can't read this, I've not got time for this. So you need to have content in there that's engaging and interesting for your members. And that's one thing with the live Q&As, which you wonderfully did for me recently, is to provide something a bit different as well. You know, I've been really honoured to have some fabulous guests this year, and to have that is something a bit different from some of the other groups that are running, and it brings people in and people want to engage in it. So if you're thinking of doing a group, try and think of something that maybe other groups aren't doing, something a bit different that makes you stand out from the crowd and makes your members want to, you know, to interact and engage in the group.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I joined Love Reflexology, just scrolling through the posts, not even with the interviews, like the interviews themselves could be monetized. Like they're so valuable, just oozing value from all of the experts that you have on these interviews. But just even the questions and the conversation, like you have some really intelligent, high-level practitioners that are responding to these questions on a daily basis. So it's kind of like having a free mentor. I mean, it's so amazing to be a part of this group that you've created where just every time you log on, you're learning something new.
Yeah, I mean, I've been overwhelmed, Sam, to be honest, with the level of support that the group's received from some exceptional practitioners. And I'm so thankful to them for supporting the group and also for giving up their time to respond to questions and share their knowledge and expertise with, you know, practitioners who are maybe just starting out, who haven't perhaps got that deep level of knowledge yet. And I'm very, very thankful for those practitioners for giving up their time to share this advice, and then also doing the Q&As. Because it's inspirational and it inspires practitioners to want to deepen their knowledge, to go on and learn more, maybe read a new book, go on a new CPD course. And I'm very excited for next year to see where this group's going to go and develop. And I'm just very thankful to everybody for being part of it.
So on that note of 2018, what are some things that you're currently working on, maybe behind the scenes, maybe not so behind the scenes, that we can expect to see from you in 2018?
I've got lots of ideas bubbling away in the background. My mind is always busy. This is the thing, when you love your job, it's not like work, is it, Sam?
True.
Oh gosh, I never switch off from it because I love it, and it's just I don't see it as work. So I've got lots of ideas bubbling away for the group for next year that I hope to roll out in the coming months. I'm also working on some more of the business mentoring work and have some ideas for that to launch in the new year. So lots going on in the background that I hope to share with everybody soon, and certainly more live Q&As with fabulous experts. And again, like I said before, I'm so thankful for them for sharing their knowledge and expertise with us all.
Do you know the next live speaker that you have queued up off the top of your head?
We have a facial reflexologist called Helen. She's in January. It's on the events page within the group. If anybody is part of the Reflexology group, head to the event page and there are full details there. So if you have an interest in facial reflexology, this one will be for you.
Awesome. And if people want to reach out to you, either for business mentoring, if they're local and they'd like to get a session from you, or maybe even if they just had a spur of the moment question, what are some of the ways that people can connect with you and interact with you?
Okay, well, I have my website, website, which is kellyhainsworth.com. You can contact me directly through the website, and all my social media links are on there also. So I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Please feel free, you can contact me through any of those. Or if you just want to pop me an email to kelly@kellyhainsworth.com. I'm usually online at some point of the day, so so feel free to message me and share any questions. I'm always approachable, and I love networking and meeting and speaking with new practitioners. So do feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here.
That brings up a really interesting topic real quick, as far as how do you think technology as a whole is serving the reflexology community?
I think it's a very powerful tool for us to use. As practitioners, it's a great resource to network. I've made connections online through Twitter with other local businesses to me, and that's led us on to organising events, which has led then on to me gaining new clients. So in terms of networking and reaching out, it's a valuable tool for our businesses. And then as a practitioner also, with groups like Love Reflexology, it's a great resource for learning. And I've learned so much from the incredible practitioners in the group. And it's really deepened my knowledge. So I think it's a fabulous resource for us all.
Awesome, Kelly. Well, it has been such a pleasure to speak with you today. I'm just in awe of everything that you continue to put out online, both through Instagram and what I see on Facebook. It's just so amazing to be able to share your knowledge with our listeners. And definitely, if you have not checked out the Love Reflexology group, if we haven't said it enough during this podcast episode, it is definitely the premier hub for all reflexologists across the world to go check out. So make sure you do that. I appreciate your time, Kelly. Thanks so much for being on.
And thank you so much for inviting me, Sam. And again, thank you for being my guest recently. It was inspiring, and I've had so much feedback since. It was just incredible. And people asking me, when are you coming back? Is Sam coming back?
Oh my goodness.
I hope you can join me again in 2018.
That episode was ridiculous. I mean, and that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you on, is because, like, the outpouring of just genuine interest and appreciation, the quality of your membership and the mass of your membership, you've just created a beautiful garden of practitioners. And to see that firsthand, and you can watch the live replay in the group as well, for those of you that want to check out the live interview that we did in the Love Reflexology group. It was, I mean, the comment train was massive, and it was so hard for me to keep up. Everybody just kept commenting and liking and sharing, and then somebody else would pop on, and it's turned into an animal, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I noticed even the day after Sam, it's all finished, but there were still comments coming in, and then people said, I've just bought the book and I'm really excited, and Sam, you're inspirational, and it was just incredible and so exciting to be part of that.
Yeah, and it was fascinating because really, I mean, both of us didn't really know how it would play out.
No, you were the first live video guest. We've done it in a typing format before, but you were my first live video guest, and some members were a bit unsure about how it would work and how do I join in. But once it started, that was